if you take your evening hours and you don't use them for anything other than binging shows and eating food, you're guaranteeing yourself that you have to go back into your job the next day. So I was taking my evening hours and I was working towards building a business, even though I was tired, even though my best energy had already been given through the day, even though it wasn't seeming to make a whole lot of difference. I finally booked my first photo shoot. I'm going to tell you how you can quit your job, why you should quit your job if you don't like it, and how I quit a job that I wasn't in love with, and how I turned my passion into my job. But before we get to that, I cannot, you cannot, we cannot be truly successful in this life unless we experience success in each of the 5 categories. Number 1, health. Number 2, faith. Number 3, relationships. Number 4, health and fitness. And number 5, peak performance, which is you becoming the best version of you, not of somebody else, but of you. I like to sum it all up with one question. What is the point of having money if I don't have my health to enjoy it and I don't have any relationships to share it with, and if it all just ends in a few years and nothing comes afterwards? Sounds like a little bit of a bummer of a show, but it's not. And there actually is a great purpose on your life, and that's what the 5 ideas is designed for, to help you find it and help you succeed fully in all 5 areas and experience true success in life. So let's jump in to today's topic of quitting that job you don't like.
It's a hot subject. It's being talked on social media, but I can't wait to hear your story.
I saw a stat. I'm going to jump right into my story, but I saw a stat this week that was like people spend on average like 27 minutes a day, maybe it was 27 to 47 minutes a day at their job looking for other jobs. So just let that sink in.
At their job looking for other jobs.
And I think you said 80%.
Over 80% of people surveyed in America right now are unhappy with the job that they have.
So I was working at a company called JCPenney. You may or may not be familiar with them. They used to be a retail behemoth before the Amazon surge and all of that stuff started happening. And I was working there. I was a operations manager. So the truck would come in with clothes. I'd unload it. I oversaw a team of 7 people. We would put the clothes out on the floor. We'd change prices. We'd give you guys all those sales you love, the buy one, get one frees, all that stuff that we get the customers through the door on Doorbuster days. And that was a job that paid my bills. And I was newly married. I did have to have an income stream. And I can't say that I was thrilled to go into that job every day, but what I did think was, this is the best of the worst jobs I could have. Because to me, a job, a 9 to 5, felt a little bit like a prison sentence, almost to the point where I was thinking, like, can I just sell my car, not have a phone, ride a bike, live in my parents' basement? Like, what can I do to not have to have a job? And it wasn't that I didn't want to have something to do, because I like working, I like doing stuff. But I was like, man, I'm giving all of my good hours. That's what I kept running through my mind. I'm giving all of my good hours to this company who's paying me $16 an hour. At the time, that was actually pretty decent pay. But I'm like, they're paying me, $16 an hour. I'm not getting that far ahead in life. And I'm giving my best hours to this company. And then I'm tired when I get home. I don't feel motivated to work on my own stuff. And at the time I was in school as well. So it actually drove me pretty heavily into finding a way out. And so I started looking at, like, okay, what do I kind of enjoy? What kind of interests me? And media has always interested me. Music creation, creativity, all that stuff's always interested me. And so I'm like, well, maybe I could become a photographer. I've seen other people that I'd known become photographers, and they were able to quit their jobs. And it was super enticing, because it was like, the hook to me was, yeah, it's still work, but I can set my own schedule. I don't have to punch in, don't have to punch out, don't have to request time off. Like, I'm setting my own schedule. So to me, did I want to take wedding photos and senior photos and family photos? not my passion, but it helped me get closer to that vision I had of freedom, of not clocking in, not clocking out. So bought a camera, started working towards that vision. But the thing is, I still had to make money, so I couldn't quit my job quite yet. So I took my evening hours. I know people are going to be like, I'm so stressed. I don't have time to think in my evening hours. I don't have any energy. I'm going to just challenge you and say it's the only way. It's the only way out. Because if you take your evening hours and you don't use them for anything other than binging shows and eating food, you're guaranteeing yourself that you have to go back into your job the next day. So I was taking my evening hours and I was working towards building a business, even though I was tired, even though my best energy had already been given through the day, even though it wasn't seeming to make a whole lot of difference. I finally booked my first photo shoot after couple months of working on it, and I'm like, well, Kayla, I think I need a camera now. So I don't even know if I had a proper camera to use. I think I had a little one with like a kit lens that just wasn't usable. So Kayla was like, yeah, well, you got a job, so I guess you need a camera. So we went out, bought a camera, did a shoot. I can tell you this, I put my best effort into this shoot possible, and it was a high school reunion, but I was so thankful for it. Seemed like a rock star opportunity at the time. I was thrilled with it. I'm still thrilled with it because it opened the door. So thank you for the folks that helped me get that. But to other people, other photographers, they'd be like, not doing that. I'm not doing that. I think I made like $150 or whatever, which was amazing to make money. I told them, they're like, how much is it going to cost? I'm like, $150. My boss didn't tell me how much he was going to pay me. I told them how much I was going to charge them. And then I'm like, it flipped a switch, it opened a door. I was able to build that up and eventually go full-time into photography. My goal was to go into a commercial videography business, and I did that. And we've had lots of opportunities to work with awesome clients, help companies generate tens of millions of dollars. I own several companies. A lot of it due to the fact that we have a media agency that allows us to help companies thrive. And we're just super thankful to be where we are. But it was those couple hours I took after my job that helped me quit my job. And I know sometimes that doesn't sound like the thing you were maybe hoping I would say, but it is the thing that works. It works every time. If you ask anybody, they're going to say hustle, 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 hustle. However, I think that the hustle isn't supposed to remain forever. I think it's this concept that we've talked about before, front end loading your life, where you're doing a lot of work up front. Because eventually I replaced JCPenney, and now I don't have to do JCPenney plus the photography. Now it's all media. Now it's all that business focus, and I have a lot more free time. So I'm not saying that you want to be a videographer or photographer. I'm not saying that your journey is going to look exactly the same as mine, but the principle that we're talking about, which I'll let Rich expand upon, is a principle that can be applied to every single person that's facing this issue of, I'm giving my best time to my boss and this job that I don't love.
Right. And so the reason you were able to make a decision to hustle at night, to work extra hard, is because you did what we always talk about. You identified the problem. And for you, the problem was, I don't want to have to punch in and punch out. You wanted freedom.
Right.
So that's what you identified. And everyone, if they're going to make a shift, they have to identify what is the real problem here, because there is no work that is perfect.
Nope.
There is no job. I think no matter what it is, there's going to be challenges with it. Some you could really be passionate about, others not at all. But you made a decision to say, I want freedom. I'm looking for freedom. So I'm willing to give up some freedom for a while so that I can have more freedom down the road. That was the first thing that you did. You identified the problem. People have to identify the problem. Am I working too long? Do I not like the job? Am I not making enough money? Is the work environment toxic? What is the problem that's causing me to not want to work here? Second thing, as we always do, right? We talk about, what do you value?
Yep.
So if you value freedom, you're willing to take some risks, work a little longer. Not everybody values that. Some people value security, quote unquote
Mhm.
security. I'm just going to work at JCPenney forever. But we know that JCPenney doesn't live forever.
Right.
Businesses don't live forever.
Yep.
I was in Michigan at the time the housing market crashed. I was in Michigan when the auto industry started to dive and everybody started going south. So it is a false sense of security, but some people just like showing up, punching in, punching out, not having to worry about anything. They value that. What do you value?
Yeah. And for you, it might not be starting your own business, but the shocking statistic of 80% of Americans being unhappy with their current job says something. And what is that? Like, what is that that's making you unhappy? It could be that lack of freedom, that clocking in and out that you don't like. It could just be the culture. Maybe there is a job that you would value for another company. So your story might not be exactly like mine, but like Rich said, you got to identify what that problem is for you. And then you have to identify what you value. Because if you just hop from another job to a job that looks better, but doesn't really solve your value problem, because maybe you go from one job to another and this job pays more, but requires more time. And the problem is your time was what you valued. Now
Yeah.
you've just sold your value for an increase in pay, but that wasn't what you valued. So
Yep.
now you're looking for your next job again. And a lot of people chase pay, even though a lot of times what they're looking for is time.
Sure. And I love what John Maxwell says about this. In every major decision, or in every decision, there's a trade-off.
Every time.
You're going to get something, but maybe you have to let go of something. So you have to weigh that out in the decisions that you're trying to make. Is this the trade-off I want to make?
Absolutely.
And what do I value in that trade-off?
What's your value? Time or money or both, or making money in a way you enjoy, which is actually what most people are looking for. They're not looking to stop making money.
Mhm.
They're looking to make more money because money is very helpful to life, but they're looking to do it in a way that they actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's why even when you transition to a job where you get a promotion and you make extra income, you're still not satisfied because, yeah, the money value was hit, but that free time value maybe is stolen and the enjoyment factor value is off.
And here's something to leave with. I think this is a very positive thing to leave with. And I go through this with clients all the time. Most people are unhappy because the feeling they have is they're stuck. They feel like, I can't leave this job. I've been in it for 20 years, or I went to school for this degree and I don't know anything else. And they feel stuck. Not true. There's so many different options. Your brain is so powerful. You can retrain yourself.
Yep.
I've seen people make the most radical transitions in their life. I would just say, go after something and think about, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, look to see if there's something else and experiment.
Yep, experiment. It's huge.
And our world is different. When I was growing up many, many years ago, I'm a lot older than Joey, you know, that guy behind the butcher counter at the grocery store, he had been there his whole life.
And he'll stay there till he retires.
That was the era. Now, people are changing jobs all the time. It's a mobile society. Options are available.
They are. So find out what you value and start patterning your life and building your life in that direction. Income's not bad. Free time's not bad. Having both isn't bad. But if you can have income, free time, and in the time that you're both free and the time that you're working, you're enjoying the whole time, that's going to open up some doors.
And I'm going to say this, and this is absolutely not because I is one. I'm a coach. If you want to transition, get a coach.
Yep.
Because the biggest turnaround in my life came through when I was in a coaching session. And the coach helped me see that what I'm doing right now can actually contribute to what I could do in the future. So it's not always like you do something completely different. Things build. You have goals, or you have gifts and abilities and talents that you've been working on, but maybe the right door hasn't opened to you. Get somebody to coach you through that, to help you through those processes.
Amen. And with that, thank you so much for watching this episode of 5 Ideas. We have plenty more like it and plenty more coming, so subscribe so that you can stay updated on all future episodes, and check out the next video that's coming up right after this one. Or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, hit the next podcast. We'll see you soon.